The heart of your teams. The heart of Texas. Bally Sports Southwest. The heart of the fan.
Our origin story is a City Connect story. One sparked by the passion of the young mayor of Arlington, Texas, who dreamed of bringing a Major League Baseball team to his city, which connected two major cities with a rich baseball heritage like never before, to play baseball in Arlington. The Dallas-Fort Worth Spurs were born. Their home, Arlington's brand new Turnpike Stadium. And on April 21st, 1972, this ballpark made its Major League debut as the first home of the Texas Rangers. Which means our team that proudly represents the great state of Texas is the result of Mayor Tom Vandergrift's bold vision that brought Dallas and Fort Worth together through baseball. City Connect indeed.
That's right, all the way from Dallas to Fort Worth. This team has connected cities in between with baseball, and tonight the Rangers will be hosting the Athletics, the middle game of this three-game series, and the Rangers in need of a win. Now let's just take a look at where the Rangers find themselves coming into play today. 3 games back in the division. That is a story multi-layered with tiebreakers and whatnot with Houston and Seattle. The other story, though, is the wild card, where the Rangers find themselves currently 2 games back of Toronto, only 1 back in the loss column. Welcome in, everybody. Great to be with you tonight. I'm Dave Raymond with CJ Nitkowski. Now, that's a lot of information, and the reality is with 22 games to go, including tonight, the Rangers have one thing in mind, and that is starting to win ball games. What happens with everybody else is a little bit immaterial if you can't win games yourself, and right now that's been the problem. If they are to turn that around here tonight, though, perhaps it starts with the bat of Corey Seager.
It certainly would be nice, and Corey Seager really has gotten it done all year long. This offense has been defined by the power and the home runs, especially in this ballpark. Corey Seager has been excellent with his power all season long, but 5 home runs in particular over his last 8, and you go back to the beginning of August, and he has 14 of them. We know he missed some time, but Corey Seager has hit home runs all year long. Last year, he set a personal career best in a single season, and he's knocking on the door of 1,000 hits.
Yeah, he has been excellent for this Rangers team despite what has been going on around him. He continues to churn forward, and the Rangers, they did get a little boost of energy last night when we saw the Major League debut of Evan Carter. Got his first hit, first stolen base, an outfield assist. He was excellent. He earns himself a spot in the spotlight tonight with Emily Jones when we come back.
Rangers baseball on Bally Sports is presented by Choctaw Casinos and Resorts. And by Baylor Scott & White Health, changing healthcare for the better.
No better time to start something good than today, as Rangers baseball is presented by Choctaw Casinos and Resorts. It is the middle game of a 3-game set between the Rangers and the Athletics, the penultimate game of this season-long 9-game homestand, and the Rangers would love nothing more than to get things going in the right direction here against a struggling A's club. It has been a funk for this team for sure the last 20 games, but still plenty of baseball to be played, and last night it was all about a kid making his big league debut, as we see in our Shiner Box Spotlight. Evan Carter, the #1 prospect in the Rangers organization, getting it done from jump. First outfield assist of his career. Also was able to follow that up with the first hit of his career. Said he could barely feel his legs, kind of blacked out in that moment, settled down right after that. Got a lot of those firsts out of the way, including the first stolen base of his Major League career. Obviously smiles and cheers all around from his family in attendance. A special night for Evan Carter. He is available off the bench, not in the lineup today, Dave.
Yeah, and good for him. Obviously a special night last night, Em, and I did ask him today about pinch hitting. Had he ever done it before? And he stared for a long time, said, No, I never have. Well, be ready to do it tonight, young man, because that's probably the next thing on the list is maybe an opportunity to do just that this evening. Well, the Rangers and A's all set to go tonight. Middle game of this series, a meaningless game for Oakland. No doubt about it. 44-97. Whether they win or lose will make no difference in their season. For the Rangers, it's not that it's desperation time, but it's pretty darn close to desperation time. 76-64 and in a dogfight right now for their postseason lives. Let's take a look at the lineup for Oakland. Ryan Noda at first base, leading it off. Zach Geloff at second base. Then it's Seth Brown in right. Rooker DHs, Langoliers catching, and Lawrence Butler gets the start in center field, batting sixth. And then the bottom of the order, it's Smith, Kemp, and Nick Allen, the shortstop, who bats ninth.
And tonight for the Rangers, it'll be the right-hander Nate Eovaldi, second start since coming off the IL. 11-4 overall this year. You can see his 112 strikeouts in 125 innings. He's given up 10 home runs this year, and he's got a great ground ball rate of 53%. The pitch arsenal for Eovaldi, you're going to get that four-seam fastball that sits at 95, the split, cutter, curveball, and slider all in there as well. But the split has been the best pitch with a 177 batting average. Again, let's take it back to May 11th for Eovaldi in a start that he had against these Oakland A's in Oakland. And remember, he was on that stretch where he nearly threw three straight complete games. He couldn't quite finish that one. 8 2/3 for Eovaldi, but it was a career high 12 strikeouts, an absolute domination for the right-hander against this Oakland A's lineup. Last time the Rangers, I can take that back, it was not the last time, the first time the Rangers were out in Oakland, and so we certainly would like to see some more of that here tonight against the same Oakland team. How about the defense behind Eovaldi, brought to you by Rally House. It is Robbie Grossman, as you see him there in right field. Duran will be in left, and Leody Taveras is in center. Smith, Seager, Simeon, and Lowe around the infield. And how about this? Austin Hedges getting a start tonight behind the plate.
Hedges has been one of the best defensive catchers in the game, not just this year, but in recent years. And he and Nathan Eovaldi hoping to work a little magic back there against an A's team that won the opener yesterday by a score of 6-3. And with that, we are underway here tonight. Ball one to Ryan Noda.
A little bit of an over there from Eovaldi. Remember, of course, he made that first start off the IL, just 35 pitches. And one of the things that stuck out was some struggles with command for Eovaldi, both on the strike rate and the in zone rate. Again, it was only 35 pitches, but those two rates were the lowest of any start that he had this season.
Well, it was 2-0 pitch, and that one finds the inside corner of the cutter that time. And the count 2-1. Noda, Geloff, and Brown. Eovaldi 11 wins, 4 losses. It is 2-1. There's a swing and a miss. That time the splitter. Noda 1 for 5 with a double yesterday. Drove in a couple of runs. Today batting in the leadoff spot. Yesterday was batting third. And that's fairly typical for Oakland. These guys used all up and down the lineup. The 2-2 pitch. Missed with the curveball. You hear the groan from the fans here as they were hoping for and thought maybe they had a strikeout. That was fairly close.
Lump me into that group as well. I think we were all right.
In the air, down the left side, heading foul. Smith way over, and that one is beyond his reach. And so Noda will earn yet another pitch. Noda, the guy who does control the strike zone pretty well. 66 walks this year. That has him 9th in the league. And among major league rookies, well, it's not even close. He leads all the way, both in walks, on base percentage. 3-2 pitch, and he'll take inside. That's ball 4. So Eovaldi has to deal with a base runner right out of the chute tonight.
And the thing about this also for Eovaldi, right? He made that start coming off the IL when he threw just the 35 pitches on September 5th. And so here we are on the 9th, and not the full 4 days that you would normally get in between starts, but just 3 days rest. Again, only 35 pitches. I think it is worth noting.
Well, first pitch strike to Geloff. Yeah, that was intriguing. And obviously the Rangers, they want him out there as much as they can get him out there. They want to stretch him out as much as anything. Keep building off the innings he does get, and he's ahead here 0-2 on Geloff. He was the heart and soul of this Rangers team in the first half. And he rallied around everybody else in the pitching staff. He was the unquestioned leader. 0-2 pitch, bounces up there. And more importantly, I think with regard to Eovaldi in that first half, he was the guy when they really needed a big performance now and again. It was Eovaldi who would step in and provide it. A tough stretch, their first rough patch of the year, where they went to Cincinnati and were swept by the Reds. Came home and I think might have had some questions, but he got him right back on track with a complete game shutout. The 1-2 pitch, a swing and a miss. He strikes out Geloff, one away.
And Eovaldi goes to the cutter to finish off Geloff, and this is a good one, late and tight at 90 miles an hour.
Big strikeout of Geloff, one gone. Here is Seth Brown. Brown takes upstairs.
So it's interesting that the A's, and a lot of teams will do this, but with Eovaldi starting, basically empty out their bench of almost all of their left-handed hitters. Lefties are only hitting 199 against Eovaldi. He's been better against the lefties than the righties, and just a 557 OPS, some really strong numbers. And that pitch in particular, the split, he has dominated lefties with that splitter this year. I mean, both lefties and righties, but I don't know if I'm necessarily in a rush to get all my left-handed hitters in the lineup against Nate Eovaldi.
No, he's handled both sides pretty well. The 1-1 pitch, and that's a little bit high there. I guess in the case of Seth Brown, you kind of have to play him. I don't know if you got about him third necessarily against Eovaldi, but you kind of have to play him against righties because you can't play him against lefties.
That's right.
He's hitting below 100 against lefties. The 2-1, and that's popped up third base side. Smith into foul ground, and he's got it. 2 away. So it'll be Brent Rooker. Rooker, a right-handed hitter. He was named to the American League All-Star team this year. Former college teammate of Nathaniel Lowe. Today he's DHing, and Rooker takes outside, ball 1. But he's been a good find for Oakland, especially I think in that first half when they were really struggling. He was the one guy who was a legitimate threat in their lineup. He has 23 homers this year and 57 RBIs. It's 1-1. He's hit safely now in 3 straight games. He was 1 for 4 yesterday with a walk. And he'll take a little low.
It's been his first real opportunity with some consistency in the big leagues. He had a little bit of time with Minnesota in 2020 and 21, and then split some time in 22 with both the Padres and the Royals. But the games and the at-bats far and away career highs for Brent Rooker this year. And he's taken full advantage of it.
2 balls and 2 strikes. Good zip on that fastball from Eovaldi. It's always one more strike away from putting up a 0 in the first inning. And that would in and of itself be a little boost for this Rangers team. He's trying to get off to a good start tonight. This will also be his 20th pitch of the inning. But first, he'll check in on Noda. It was actually pretty close.
Let's take a peek. A good throw over from Eovaldi, and yeah, pretty close. The arm got in, the hand got in just in time.
He's going. The pitch is outside. Throw down to second, cut off. Because it was a strikeout. Rooker, he went. It was an attempted check swing, but a strikeout. And the inning is over.
Great job by Eovaldi here. A couple of strikeouts in this inning. One came on the cutter, and this one here on the slider. And yeah, that's a good call. Rooker went around.
And some shakeup today in this lineup. Marcus Semien at second base, Corey Seager at short as always. But how about the 3 spot in the lineup? Robbie Grossman, the switch hitting right fielder. Then Mitch Garver DHing. Nathaniel Lowe drops to 5th in the order, playing first. Ezekiel Duran in left field. Bottom third of the order is Tavares Smith and Austin Hedges doing the catching.
And tonight for the Rangers, they'll go up against the left-hander Sean Newcomb, who is coming out of the bullpen to make this start for the A's. This is his first start since August of last year. Now, so far, he's thrown the ball pretty well here in his 8 innings, 10 punch-outs and 4 walks so far. Very simple pitch mix here. 4-seam fastball. Got the curveball in there, and occasional 2-seamer, but this really is going to be all about the 4-seam fastball and the curveball. Newcomb likes to live near the top of the zone with that fastball. Curveball plays off of it. So the Rangers are going to have to lay off the high heater tonight, and they're going to have to be able to get to a fastball in the upper third of the strike zone.
Marcus Semien, the first man charged with that duty, and he lines that one foul. 1-1.
How about a little StatCast powered by Google Cloud here? We'll go ahead and take a look at Marcus Semien, who was leading off, and well, he has taken Sean Newcomb deep before. We're going to go back to 2021 against the Atlanta Braves, and there was Marcus as a member of the Blue Jays.
This one down the left field line again, foul.
He's on him right away.
Well, a double last night and a 2-for-5 evening for Semien. We'll take outside here, 2-2. Marcus has hit in 3 straight games. All 3 are multi-hit games. He has 8 hits in the little 3-game hitting streak. And it's fouled over to the right side here. It stays 2-2. He leads the league in hits, in runs. He's 6th in doubles, 10th in RBIs. But he does play good defense. 2-2 pitch, and that ball's hit well. Center field, but Butler has it measured. Semien just missed the sweet spot of the bat, 1 away.
You could see it throughout that entire at-bat. Elevated fastballs and then the breaking ball that plays off of it. As long as the Rangers don't chase that pitch up above the zone, they'll have a shot to get to Newcomb, who probably won't be in there that long, maybe 3 innings, depending on how the pitch count goes.
Well, Seager hits one high in the air out to right field. Brown is back in front of the bullpen, and he makes the catch. It was a big swing by Corey. He just missed the sweet spot.
And this is on a first pitch breaking ball, not the best one from Newcomb. You can see that ball finish inner third and maybe even in off the plate. And you're right, Corey just missed it, got under it a little bit. He hit it hard, 100 miles an hour, but just a little too high in the air. You see him glancing up at the scoreboard and looking at the launch angle and exit velocity.
So now Robbie Grossman. And Robbie not only in the lineup, but batting third. And the curveball misses up and out. 2-0. Grossman 0 for his last 10 over the last 4 games. But decidedly better against left-handed pitching than he is right. And he takes inside here. Ball 3.
Yeah, I think it makes some sense to have him in that spot over Nathaniel Lowe. We've talked a lot about how his season has gone, an OPS over 900 against lefties, and so when Grossman is batting right-handed, he's been really good. And he takes a good at-bat, and you see that pitch right there. He knows the strike zone as good as anybody, and I would agree with Robbie Grossman that this pitch was probably off the plate.
3-1 the count now on Robbie. And Newcomb's offering. That one is in there. It's a full count. Grossman, a former outfielder for Oakland, 2019 and 2020. And he shoots that one foul. Now he's had a lot of success against the A's this year. In 9 games against Oakland, he's hitting .371 with a lot of slug. The 3-2, and that is high, ball 4. So it took a couple extra pitches, but he gets his walk. Grossman is on now in front of Mitch Garver. Now Garver, 6 homers in the last 12 games to pad those numbers there at the bottom of your screen. He has surged here at the end of the season, and he takes strike 1. Last 5 games hitting .471 with 3 home runs. Has the average up over .280 now. And watch one high. 1-1 the count. Just underway tonight, a Saturday night, a City Connect Saturday. Rangers at home, wear those City Connect unis Fridays and Saturdays. 2-1 now to Garver. And then we'll wrap up this homestand tomorrow. It's a pretty handsome crowd. Three balls and a strike on Garver.
That breaking ball misses badly. It's a good one. It's got some significant break to it. You can see how far down and in this finishes in the dirt. This is a nice block behind the plate by Langeliers. You see him making sure he tries to at least square it up, and he actually catches it in his armpit.
That's high, ball 4, back-to-back 2-out walks. So Semien took a pretty good swing. Seager did too. And they both narrowly missed hitting the ball out. They just missed the sweet spot a little bit. Scott Emerson, pitching coach for the A's, out there now. The response from Newcomb was then to walk Grossman and Garver. And so his 20th pitch will be his first offering to Nathaniel Lowe, but with 2 men on.
We know that some of those slugging numbers and OPS numbers go down for Nathaniel against left-handed pitching, but he still gives a really good at-bat. He's got a 12% walk rate against lefties. That's really impressive when league average sits around 8%, 8.5. He puts together a patient at-bat. The one thing that we have seen from him lately, a little bit of chase up above the zone that he's got to be very careful not to do that here against Newcomb, who will try to get him up with the fastball and away with the breaking ball.
He started after that one, but stopped just in the nick of time. Ball 1 to Lowe. So Newcomb making his first start of the year. Acquired from the San Francisco Giants in a deal in August. That's in there for a strike. 1-1. The A's sent an outfielder, Trenton Brooks, to San Francisco to get Newcomb. Originally a first-round draft pick of the Angels back in 2014. 1-2 the count on Lowe. But Newcomb, he's been in the big leagues parts of 7 seasons, mostly with Atlanta, 2017 to 2022. The Cubs last year. And now the A's here in 2023. Just a little wide. 2-2 now to Nathaniel. Grossman at second, Garver at first. That's fouled back.
Still just 30 years old is Sean Newcomb, and trying to reestablish some value. You mentioned those years in Atlanta, and
started his career there and was a pretty decent starter, respectable starter for them. Did a nice job. Then they moved him to the bullpen. Then he dealt with some injuries, and there's been some up and down since.
Well, he strikes out low, and that ends the inning. The Rangers leave a couple of men on in the first. So off to the second inning, no score tonight.
Cannot deny the Rangers have been in some kind of funk the last 20 games. Bruce Bochy said, look, it's not stressful, but it is intense. They just got to get away a win in any way possible. He said, look, it just takes one to get things going, but not shying away from the challenge that's ahead of us. But the fact that we still have everything in front of us is something that we can appreciate, build on, and take advantage of. They, as we've talked about, guys, they've still got it all in front of them and still very much in control of their own destiny because of the way the schedule, you know, pans out the rest of the way. But you got to get one if you're going to string some together.
It's a good place to start, right? As they said in Major League. Got to win one, and you win two, then you got a winning streak and get back on track.
Line drive out to left field. That's over the head of Duran, and Langeliers will head to second base. He's in there with a leadoff double. And the first hit of the game for either team.
And going back to what Emily was talking about, the last 20 games here for the Rangers, there have been some real struggles. 4-16 now. That is the third worst record in baseball over a 20-game span, and not much of anything has gone right for the Rangers during that time. Really struggling with runners in scoring position, hitting just 172. Bullpen ERA is up over 7. The starters ERA is up over 5.5 during that time. And the big one for me, I looked this up this morning, they had given up 45 home runs in that 20-game span, the most home runs they've ever given up in a 20-game span in franchise history.
1-1 on Lawrence Butler. That's a big number, 45.
Yeah, and listen, we don't like talking about the negatives, but at the same time, you kind of point out what's going on and feel like, well, there's no way it's been that bad. All these little things that have gone wrong are big things. That's going to change. This team's too good, and hopefully this is right near the bottom. They get it turned around. They go on a strong run. 22 games to go. And some real huge head-to-head matchups.
There's a swing and a miss. Butler strikes out. He's a third strikeout already today for Eovaldi.
And good execution of a 95-mile-an-hour four-seam fastball. Left-handed hitter, go up and in. There's not a hitter in the league that's going to get to that pitch. You can't put it in a better spot than that for Nate Eovaldi.
Already 8 swings and misses for Eovaldi tonight. Kevin Smith, the batter. And he'll take strike one. 96 with that fastball. One out. Langeliers at second base. For Smith, this is his third go-round with Oakland. And he swings right through that one. 0-2.
So making now 9 swings and misses for him.
Yep.
That's pretty incredible. He only had 1 in that last start when he threw the 35 pitches. 1 whiff in there.
Well, he looks quite a bit different today, to be honest. The ball's got a lot more life. The 0-2, yeah, that's a little bit high. Ball 2 strikes on Smith, who I mentioned has been up and down a bunch of times. Today gets a start at third base. It's just his 5th start at third base tonight. Mostly he's been starting at shortstop this year. The 1-2 pitch, and he started but didn't get that bat even nearly halfway through the zone. 2-2. Smith was 1 for 4 last night with a double, scored a run. Nathan's 2-2 pitch, and that's outside again.
I agree. He certainly looks sharp here tonight. Now 31 pitches already. The anticipation is maybe a max of 50 on the high end for Eovaldi.
And he just walked Smith. Second walk that he's issued tonight. All right, how about our Choctaw Casinos and Resorts game within the game? Now, the other side of the story tonight are these Oakland A's, and we know it's been a terrible year. They've lost 97 games. But when you look since August 21st, that .588 win percentage, that's third best in the league. Outscoring teams, a good bullpen ERA of 3.63. They've done a pretty nice job. And Tony Kemp, one of the few veteran bats in there, swings over the top of strike one.
Not an ideal guy necessarily to try to get a double play, but he has faced Eovaldi 10 times, far and away the most of any A's hitter. 0 for 10 with 5 groundouts, including one of those being a double play in his career.
And there's a bouncer second base, a tag of the runner one on the first, double play. Well, that was not a double play ground ball, but it was turned into one by Marcus Semien.
That is a great play by Marcus Semien and a bad job of base running by Smith. He goes right into this tag. You got to try to avoid it, but Marcus with an unbelievable play to get the Rangers out of that inning.
Major League game all year long. Well, guess what? All minor league games as well this year with MLB.tv. Live or on demand. And all the details available for you right now. Check it out, MLB.tv. It'll be Duran, Taveras, and Smith in this second inning. Rangers stranded a couple of runners in the first. They got 2 walks and left them both out there. You remember last night, or maybe you've done your best to forget and understand, Rangers left the bases loaded in the first inning yesterday. They did that again in the second, and they would do it one more time in the fourth inning yesterday. They stranded 10 runners in the first 4 innings. And Duran starts this inning with a base hit to right. So the Rangers have their first hit of the ball game.
And perhaps maybe a little bit of a new approach here for Ezekiel Duran. We saw this last game with him where he goes to the opposite field. That fastball is middle away, somewhat elevated. We know he's got pull power, but how about keeping the head down and just taking your base hit to right field?
First pitch, a back foot breaking ball to Leody Taveras. Taveras batting 7th in the lineup today. Another breaking ball. Well, that one gets a corner, 1-1.
Yeah, so we've seen some pitches out there called here already tonight. But especially when you get the left-handed breaking ball, hitter's going to tell you all day long, if anything, it went around the plate. That one didn't even look like it caught the plate, though.
Fastball right on the inside corner. Strike 2 on Leody. Well, Newcomb worked around a couple of walks last inning. Has 1 strikeout so far tonight. And he rushes that past Taveras. A strikeout is the first out here in the second.
Sounded like he might have foul tipped that one. I couldn't tell.
Just barely, perhaps. Josh Smith now the batter. Josh batting 8th today, a left-handed hitter. Taveras a switch hitter. And Newcomb fires that one right in there. So for Newcomb, as we've mentioned, his first start of the year, he's pitched out of the bullpen 5 times. But a guy who's done a lot of starting in his career. And Mark Kotsay, his manager, said when a lot of men, sometimes managers are really cut and dry, straightforward about it. And sometimes it's really honest, right? And he said, look, I mean, we're trying to get every single thing we can out of him tonight. How about that? We're going to try and get as many outs, as many innings as possible. So expectations, maybe 3 innings. He said, could be 4. Heck, we'll take 5 if they're available. We'll see what it ends up being. The 0-2 and fouled back.
Well, Newcomb certainly looks pretty dialed in here tonight and pretty determined to go as deep as he can. Now, so far for the A's in the relief outings that he has had, they have been longer ones, including his last in which he went 2 1/3. His second outing with them, and on August 25th, he had thrown 42 pitches. That was a season high in the handful of games that he's thrown for them.
He strikes out Smith here. Back-to-back Ks. And we have time now to hear from Kia.
The all-powerful Kia SUVs assembled in Georgia.
I mean, you surprised at all that Austin Hedges comes out to Fat Bottom Queen? Or excuse me, Fat Bottom Girls by Queen. He is something.
He is. If you're just talking about makeup, he's 100% character. All personality, the 1-0, and that's a strike. He's a fun guy to be around, and man, he's got just unlimited amounts of energy and positivity. He's a unique one to have around. The 1-1 pitch, and he pops it up right around home plate. Boy, there seems to be some confusion, and finally it comes down at Langelier's glove. The inning is done. So the Rangers leave another man on. To the third tonight, no score.
A little early tonight as we find Evan Carter. Favorite food, crab legs. Superpower he wishes he had, the ability to fly. Celebrity lunch date, Christian Bale. Fellas.
Okay, all right.
I can get behind the crab legs for sure.
Yeah, flying. I'm all about flying. I think that'd be
Scared of
awesome.
heights, not into that.
Yeah, but if you were in control, though, Em, don't you think that would make a difference?
Excellent point, Dave Raymond. Shows that you know me very well.
Yeah, I do. 1-strike pitch off the plate, 1-1 to Nick Allen.
Glad I looked it up before I said something. I was like, Christian Bale, Superman? No. Batman. Yeah.
I don't know that I would have known that. When you said Superman, I did the superhero thing. He's the other superhero.
Yeah.
It's a good thing I didn't go with Spider-Man. That would have really been dumb. 2-1 to Nick Allen. Shortstop, 9th place hitter tonight for Oakland. Three strikeouts so far for Eovaldi. And Allen, did he stop himself? It seems like that's where the check. I think Hedges was asking for it, just wasn't granted, but 3-1.
Let's take a peek here. Nick Allen, did he offer? Well, certainly worth asking, at least. That's pretty close.
3-1 pitch, and this is lifted into center field. Easy play for Taveras. One gone in the third. Well, there's one more home Wednesday on the schedule. September 20th, Red Sox will be in town, and that means one more Texas Chili Company $1 hot dog night. Tickets available right now at Rangers.com. That's a place to get them. So Ryan Noda, as the lineup turns over, and he'll pound this one in the dirt foul. Eovaldi's pitch count now at 40. And we were told before the ball game by Bruce Bochy 45, maybe 50 is what he'd like to see tonight. Depends on any number of things, but probably not going to stretch a whole lot past that.
And the Rangers will have an opportunity to put a little bit of pressure on the A's and what they want to do with their lineup. Right? Told you that they've put their lefties in there, or at least most of them, not all of them, before the 5 that they have on their roster. Well, the Rangers have some options with Martin Perez and Andrew Heaney, who are down in the bullpen tonight.
There's a base hit up the middle for Ryan Noda. He's have a man on in this third inning.
So it looks like Martin has begun throwing down in the Ranger bullpen, but Andrew Heaney was down there as well. So the left-handed options, maybe in a time when Mark Kotsay has put his left-handed kind of heavy lineup out there, could work to the advantage of the Rangers tonight, or they go to their bench really. We'll see.
Geloff goes after strike one here. Geloff struck out in the first. 10 homers, 23 RBIs for him. Yesterday he was in the leadoff spot, had a couple of hits, a walk. He also got caught stealing third base late in the game. And he watches ball one. Been a great start to this young man's career, though. He'll take a high strike call. 1-2. He was called up by Oakland on July 14th, first day after the All-Star break, from the AAA club in Las Vegas. He has started all but one game since then at second base. He'll take outside. 2-2. Now, since he was called up, Gelof leads all major league rookies in doubles, extra base hits. He's tied for second in hits, third in home runs. He's stolen 10 bases. So he didn't waste any time, and he was the American League Rookie of the Month in the month of August.
And he's been impressive against right-handed pitching.
He shoots that one
a base hit here.
out into right field for a base hit. And Noda heads to third, so they'll have him on the corners with one out in the third inning.
And he came into this game hitting .290 against righties, which is impressive for a young right-handed hitter. And this is a good approach against Nate Eovaldi. It's the cutter. If you remember, he struck him out on the cutter in his first at-bat. He was ready this time and took a pretty good approach as he hits this ball into right field.
A little traffic in this third inning, and here comes Bruce Bochy. So that will do it. Eovaldi has hit his mark, 47 pitches. And with the left-hander Seth Brown coming up, Rangers will go to the bullpen in the third. No score. Rangers baseball on Bally Sports is presented by Choctaw Casinos and Resorts. Yeah, well, here we are, third inning tonight on a City Connect Saturday. And while the Oakland A's do have a couple of men on base in this third inning, they have the left-handed hitting Seth Brown coming up. And so the Rangers will go with Martin Perez.
And you can see the overall numbers for Martin. This will be the ninth game in which he comes out of the Ranger bullpen, and he's thrown the ball pretty well as a reliever. Martin's going to give you that two-seam fastball, changeup, cutter combination. He also throws the four-seamer. He throws a slider and a curveball as well. And the left-right splits will have been pretty even for Martin. 283 against lefties, 289 against righties.
Brown takes a little bit low, ball one. We mentioned it earlier that Brown, one of the lefties who got the start tonight against Eovaldi, because for the most part, you can't feel comfortable playing him against lefties. 4 for 49 against lefties. That's an .082 batting average.
I was surprised. I wasn't sure what they were going to do. Exactly what the Rangers have the opportunity to do here tonight is to put some pressure on Mark Kotsay to make a decision on a guy like Brown, and they decide to leave him in the game, and they don't use a pinch hitter here.
I'm going to check in of Gelof, and it's, you know, a meaningful spot here. Scoreless game with runners on the corners. But the Rangers get the platoon advantage, left on left. And Perez bounces that one to the plate. Runner will go to second. Gelof advances on the wild pitch.
That's a good read on this ball in the dirt by Gelof, and tell you what, not an easy block. Look how far in front of home plate that bounced, and then how high it bounced. Really getting Hedges in the face.
That barely made the dirt. Almost bounced in the infield turf. 2-1, and that looked pretty good. Ball 3 on Brown.
I think the only reason he probably lost that pitch is because Hedges was set up in, so he had to reach back, but all by itself it looked like it might have been a strike.
The 3-1, and there's a foul ball by Brown. Full count now. Oakland got a walk in the first, left that man on base. They had a double and a walk in the second inning, but a double play ended any momentum they might have been gathering. Here they have, on the basis of a couple of singles, men on the, well, they have men at second and third. thanks to that wild pitch. But one out. The 3-2. And that's inside. The bases are loaded. A walk to Seth Brown. It'll bring up Brent Rooker.
Certainly not ideal for Martin. However, it does set up now the force at any base and the potential for a double play. We know when we get that really good version of Martin, he keeps the baseball on the ground and gives his team those opportunities to turn the double plays.
And Rooker's hit into 11 of them this year, second most on the team. So maybe this sets up well here for Perez. Middle of the infield at double play depth. And that's a foul ball. 0-2 the count on Rooker.
Remember, struck out in his first at bat. He just expanded the zone on a Martin Perez changeup that was off the plate. So if Martin chooses, he has that opportunity to try to go out there again and get chased. We know he loves to use the front door two-seamer as well to ring guys up. And he tried the changeup again. And the other thing that has paired so well when he is on, when he goes outside like that, is also then the backdoor cutter, backdoor breaking ball.
It was 1-2, and Rooker takes in the dirt. Another good block back there by Hedges. So he went changeup away, curveball in the dirt, just seeing if he can get Rooker to get himself out. But now he's in a spot where he's going to have to throw something maybe a little more competitive here. 2-2, and Rooker strikes out. Nope, he foul tipped that one and stays alive.
That was a really good pitch by Martin. It's the changeup. You're not going to throw it in a better spot. So frustrating when you execute like that and then you don't get the swing and miss, as Rooker just barely got a piece of it.
The 2-2. And there is strike three called. Rooker down looking, a huge out for Perez.
You know, when he was so good last year, this is what Martin did with a lot of consistency. This first time he decides to go inside on Rooker, and he does it with the two-seam fastball. You can see Rooker kind of almost leaning in a little bit and worried about maybe that pitch hitting him or trying to sell it as a ball, but that late movement comes back and catches a ton of the strike zone there for Martin. That's beautiful.
So he needs one more out here to get out of this jam. Shea Langoliers the batter, and he'll take strike one. Langoliers doubled in the second inning off of Eovaldi. Eovaldi is responsible for Noda at third and Geloff at second. 1-1 to Langoliers. The runner Brown at first, the responsibility of Martin. So there's Noda. Geloff at second base, and Seth Brown.
You see Langoliers hit the ball hard a couple of times already in this series. He's got some backward splits though, worse against lefties than righties.
Two balls and a strike. Martin right back to the plate. That's fouled off.
It's almost hard to fathom with Langoliers against lefties. Going back to the beginning of last year, he's hitting .093 on a left-handed four-seam fastball. Righties generally will crush that pitch. A straight fastball from a lefty has been a big problem for him. He's hit the slider well, he's hit the two-seamer well, even the curveball decent from lefties. But just kind of the straight fastball has been problematic. And we know he's got some pop in that bat, which makes it even more surprising.
Well, Perez 2-2. That's low. With the sinker there, and now he's put himself in a spot. Full count, nowhere to put Langoliers. And Lawrence Butler hoping to get a chance this inning for Oakland. The payoff, runners moving, a bouncer third base. Smith has it on a backhand. The long throw in time, and they get Langoliers. The inning is done. So it's a scoreless third. Oakland leaves them loaded this time, and it's still scoreless.
to get something going offensively, and obviously a mix-up in the lineup, or not mix-up, but a mix-up of the lineup from Bruce Bochy today, just trying to do some things differently, see what he can get going offensively. And he said, you know, talking about these conversations that he has with a number of people, it's not just him making these decisions. You know, he takes input from a lot of people, looks at a lot of different information, and at this point in time, you got to shake some things up if you want different results. And he dropped a great Bochism when he said, none of us are as smart as all of us. So it's not just him making these decisions, it's everybody coming together to try to figure out how to get this team back on track.
I love that. Yeah, I think it certainly does make a lot of sense. And of course, they know they need everybody to get this thing back on track, and guys stepping in with Adolis Garcia down and Josh Young down right now. And so, yeah, changing up this lineup here a little bit and asking some guys to do some things that we normally haven't seen, like Robbie Grossman batting third, is what it's going to take.
Yeah, but I think fans deserve to know where the mix-up happened, you know, and we'll get to the bottom of that. Strike pitch to Semien, a grounder shortstop, Allen on top of it, and they throw out Marcus one away. Well, let's slide over a moment here for Rally House.
Get ready for kickoff, Texas. Rally House has the game day gear you're looking for, including Cowboys sideline gear and the latest college style.
Well, Seager just missed one in the first inning. He's 0 for 1. And Newcomb gets him to wave and miss at the curveball. Strike one here.
And you remember, it was a curveball that Corey hit to the track in his first at bat, but that was a much better one. He kind of left the curveball in the first inning on the inner third part of the plate.
And bounce down to first base. Noda able to take it a couple of steps himself to retire Seager. 2 up, 2 down. And so here comes Robbie Grossman. Rangers with 1 hit today. It was a Duran base hit to lead off the second. The other 2 base runners, Grossman and Garver, both walked with 2 out in the first. I do like that note there for Robbie at the bottom of the screen. The damage he has done against Oakland this year, it's really been impressive. 3 homers, 6 doubles, and 9 RBIs in 9 games against his former club. Oh, that's a tough strike to take right there. 1-1 on Grossman. And the breaking ball runs inside. 2-1.
I'd argue that pitch probably had a more realistic chance of crossing the plate than the previous one.
Newcomb, this will be his 45th pitch of the afternoon, and that backdoor curveball is getting some calls. 2-2. He has 3 strikeouts so far today. He's off the plate with a heater there. Full count. So he's in danger of walking Grossman a second time now.
And he had a shot at a real efficient inning. It took him just 3 pitches to get the first 2 outs, but now 5 here to Robbie Grossman.
We do have some activity going in their bullpen. Muller has started to throw down there. So it may be that Newcomb's getting close. The 3-2, and that's fouled away.
I mentioned 42 a season high for him, though he has looked sharp, really not showing any signs of fatigue.
Good battle going with Grossman at the moment, and now time asked for by Langoliers. He'll run out to the mound and burn a visit. It's like maybe they were just having a little trouble figuring out how exactly they wanted to attack Robbie.
Generally, like we said, it's pretty much fastball, curveball, and it becomes about location. You want to go backdoor, do you want to go inside? We hadn't seen a changeup from Newcomb. He has thrown 3 of them today. I can't imagine he's going to go a 3-2 changeup necessarily to Robbie Grossman.
Well, the payoff, and he goes with the curveball. Strike 3 called. Grossman down looking. 4th strikeout tonight for Newcomb, and the Rangers go in order. We're still scoreless through 3. Well, a quiet one so far here this afternoon. scoreless through 4 innings, or rather into the 4th inning. And Martin Perez gets us going in the 4th. Ball 1.
It's got a lot going on. We just showed you Texas Live Arena right there, and that huge 100-foot screen that they have, but they can of course divide it up in a lot of different ways. Today's probably a good day to be there.
Plenty of football.
I wonder at
the baseball game on, yeah.
What the layout is right now.
Is that maybe your fantasy job to work all the monitors there and decide what goes on where?
Well, because it'll be one screen and it'll be the Ranger game. And you'll watch it and you'll enjoy it. You can listen to football on the radio.
Perez 1 and 2, and there's a little bouncer first base. Lowe has it, and they'll win the foot race to get Butler 1 away. Well, September 18th through the 20th, the Red Sox will be in town. It'll be the final homestand of the year for the Rangers. Tickets are available for that series. Check it out now at Rangers.com. Kevin Smith, the batter.
Well, the Red Sox are the one team that are behind the Rangers when you look at the wild card, but they're fading pretty quickly. 3-7 over their last 10, 6.5 games back.
Bouncer down to Josh Smith, and he bobbles it. Had it on a backhand, was going to have to hustle that throw, and just couldn't get it cleanly. It goes as an infield hit for Kevin Smith.
He's made so many great plays over there at third base. It looked like he was about to make another. You can see this ball catch the heel of the glove, and just not enough time to recover for Josh Smith. But defensively, he has been excellent in the work that we have seen from him on the left side of the infield.
So Smith is on now, and Tony Kemp, the batter. Remember, Kemp bounced into the double play in the 2nd inning. It was an improbable one because he didn't hit it very hard. But the man at first at the time, same man at first now, Kevin Smith, really kind of ran into the tag out once the ball was grabbed by Semien, and that allowed him to turn it. 2 balls and no strikes here on Kemp. See, it's been a struggle for Kemp. I suppose you could say the same for the A's today with runners on base. They're 1 for 8 once they get somebody on base. So there's a strike. It's 2-1.
You mentioned improbable, and a guy who does not hit into very many double plays. Good speed coming out of the left-handed hitter's batter's box. He's never in his career hit into 2 in a single game. This is kind of fun with Martin and his ability to get those ground balls. And I think it takes probably the perfect kind of firm ground ball, whether it be right at Corey Seager or Marcus Semien, even Nathaniel Lowe. This is a guy who's been around the league for a while. Will be a free agent this year. It's never happened.
About to hit into a historic 4.63. He takes Lowe. 3-1. Left on left. Perez on in relief of Nathan Eovaldi today. Eovaldi threw 2 1/3 and then just ran out of pitches. Going to come out after 47 pitches delivered. Now that's a disengagement right there by Perez. He stepped off the rubber. Just a reset, but saw the umpire extend both index fingers on his hands off to his side. That's the count of disengagements, the 3-1, and that is a strike. Full count now on Kemp.
That's a good pitch. The 2-seam fastball in, and we saw Martin also throw this pitch to Brown. Not going to throw it in a better spot, but what he did after is he followed up the same location and tried the changeup, making those 2 pitches look the same, but a big speed differential in between them. We'll see if he tries to do the same to Kemp. He did. That's something certainly that when you're on deck and you're watching guys face lefties and you're a left-handed hitter in the lineup, what is the trend? And Martin repeated the exact same. Now we'll see where he goes here with Kemp after the 2-seam fastball and then a changeup.
Smith off first. 3-2 pitch. That is strike 3 called right on the outside corner. Kemp down looking, 2 away.
A great location once again here by Martin, right on the outside corner. Kemp tried to sell it, but he knew it. And again, we see the best version of Martin Perez. We see this. 3 strikeouts. 1 against Rooker and now 1 against Tony Kemp.
So Nick Allen now, who flew out in the 3rd inning, and the first pitch to him, up and out, ball 1. Allen, a light hitting shortstop, although he does have 4 home runs this year. Not a real big guy. And he'll take a strike. 1-1 the count. So far, pitching dominating in this one tonight. 1-2 now on Allen, and a quick throw down to first, but Smith able to get back in there.
See Nathaniel saying, hey, if you're going to throw it over here where I have a chance to actually tag him out. Seemed a little ill-advised here. So, you know what? Not a bad idea. It was an aggressive lead in secondary. And if that throw was on the bag or 2 Nathaniels left, then maybe they would have had a shot at him.
Almost seemed like Hedges thought better of it about halfway through throwing it down there. Caught in between. 1-2. The pitch to Allen. Just a bit high. Oakland has had at least 1 man on every inning. In fact, they have so far stranded 5. Smith not going. The 2-2 pitch, and it's a little bit low. So Martin, if he can get Allen, he'll have cleared an inning and 2/3. But I mean, his pitch count climbing quickly. He's using a lot of pitches to these guys. 3-2, and there's a bouncer up the middle. Seager has it, and he'll fire it over to first. Allen's retired, so too are the A's. Last of the 4th coming up here in Arlington. A scoreless game so far. CJ, change the channel. Help me out here.
Pitching decisions, Dave, and how about the decisions that Martin Perez made against Tony Kemp? A really good at bat after falling behind in the count. Good change up there, down and away. That one just missed, and then Martin comes back with that really good 2-seam fastball. Followed it up with a changeup that Kemp was able to foul off, but then a painted 92-mile-an-hour heater on the corner for Martin. It's been pretty good so far here in this relief outing.
All right, Garver starts things off in the 4th inning. He fouls off strike 1. Garver low and Duran. No runs, 4 hits for Oakland so far tonight. The Rangers no runs, just the 1 hit, and that was by Duran in the 2nd. Garver popped it foul. And just like that, the count 0-2. Oh, 2 to Garver. Oh, that one got him on the foot. Backdoor breaking ball. That will put Mitch on base here to start things in the 4th inning. Well, you see some scores at the bottom of your screen there. Seattle lost today 7-5 in Tampa. And Seattle, the team directly above the Rangers in the West Division standings. Houston trailing 3-1 currently. 4th inning at home against the Padres. And there is strike 1 to Nathaniel Lowe. I saw in that Mariners loss, the Rays won it in walk-off fashion. Yandy Diaz, a 2-run homer to win it. 0-2 on Lowe. So the Mariners bullpen lately has had a little bit of trouble. The Mariners are 16-11 since August 12th. Their bullpen, though, has allowed the winning run to score in the 8th inning on one occasion. 3 times they allowed the winning run to score in the 9th inning, and 3 times in the 10th inning.
How long? Going back how long?
Since August 12th.
Oh, wow.
So, point there simply being that the Rangers, yes, they have struggled mightily themselves, and it has been painful at times. But these other teams, they're flawed as well. I mean, they're struggling through some issues of their own, and it's easy to get lost staring at your own belly button sometimes and worrying about your own problems. The 0-2.
That's a great phrase. Did you just make that up, or is that like a real phrase?
Staring at your belly button?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's a thing.
I've never heard that before, and I love it. Right. They have some other issues in Seattle. Maybe some unnecessary drama yesterday with George Kirby, who threw 6 innings and 90 pitches.
Ooh, little bouncer just over the mound. Good job by Allen to step on second for 1 and on to first. He gets a double play.
And so Kirby went out and threw 6 innings, 90 pitches, went back out for the 7th, gave it up, ended up losing that game. After the game, he had said to reporters that he wished he had not gone back out for the 7th inning because 90 pitches in 6 innings was probably enough. Their closer and their top setup guy had just thrown 3 days in a row, both of them. And he was comfortable being settled in at 90 pitches and wishes that he didn't go back out, and said he would have a conversation with his manager about it. And that was a big mistake by the young George Kirby to talk about that publicly and just kind of be completely unaware of the work that the bullpen had been doing and how overworked they had been. No, he wasn't comfortable pushing past 90 pitches.
But that did not appear to go over real well in the baseball community.
No.
1-1 pitch to Duran. That's a little bit high. 2-1.
You know, Dave, back in my day,
well,
we complained about getting taken out of the game too early. Those were our public complaints, which also should never happen. But not mad that we had to go back out. I can guarantee you Max Scherzer's never done that. It's been the other way quite a few times. But it was an awkward moment. And point there with the Mariners, that's just some, again, disruption and drama that they don't need right now. And then a player, especially publicly, coming across selfish and thinking about himself. If you're tired, then you tell your manager you're tired. That's okay.
2-2 on Duran. Who should I tell if I'm tired? Should I tell Boch?
I think he'd be interested in that information, especially right now.
He may not find that all that amusing. 2-2 pitch, and Duran strikes out swinging, and the inning is done. So the Rangers struggling a little bit offensively tonight. So too, though, are the A's. No score. Presented by Audi, and so far not a lot doing here at Globe Life Field. Nothing to score. Top of the order coming for the Oakland A's. Noda, Geloff, and Brown. Martin Perez, inning and 2/3 scoreless so far in relief. Left-handed hitter Noda bounces this one to second base, and Semien throws him out. 1 pitch, 1 out in the 5th. Bring up Geloff. Meanwhile, a little activity in the Rangers pen. Chris Stratton starting to throw down there, so right-hander getting ready. Geloff takes a big cut at strike 1. Seen a lot of whiffs in this ball game today. Just in the 5th inning. Oh, 2. Well, this is the middle game of the series. Rangers will wrap up their season series with Oakland tomorrow. And also put it into the longest homestand of the year. They hit the road. Swing and a miss. Geloff strikes out.
How about another whiff there for Ranger pitching here this afternoon, and this is a really well located pitch from Martin. It's the curveball, and when you're doing this to a right-handed hitter, you want that in off the plate if you're ahead in the count with the opportunity to finish him, and that's exactly what Martin did. It's great execution of his curveball.
Three strikeouts, and he'll run one inside on Seth Brown. He walked Brown in the third inning, the first batter he faced upon coming into the game. And this one just a little bit off as well, 2-0. Perez, who started the year in the rotation for the Rangers after a brilliant season last year. He was so good. He came back on a qualifying offer this year for the Rangers, really helped add some depth to that rotation. And the Rangers, they kind of slowed down a little bit after the trade deadline and the acquisition of Scherzer and Jordan Montgomery. The Rangers put Martin in the bullpen, and he's been a trooper, man. He's been ready to go whenever asked. And competes out there. 3-1 on the way. And that ball in the air out to right field. That's trouble. Back near the bullpen, and it is caught just in front of the pen by Taveras. Oh. Yeah, that one made you hold your breath a moment. But Brown flies out. The inning is over.
Yeah, nifty catch here by Leody Taveras in center field. You got to deal with the cutouts and the awkwardness of the wall, and he does it perfectly. Look at Martin. All right, we'll take it.
Presented by Audi. There's Globe Life Field. No score as we go to the bottom of the fifth inning. Somebody is going to have to get something going here eventually. Maybe it'll be the Rangers. How about our Febreze fresh stats? Leody Taveras, who will lead things off here, seems to have turned a corner in September. August was a miserable run for him. A 194 batting average, and everything else subsequently also quite low. But in September, been a different month entirely with a 923 OPS. He's looked a whole lot better.
Yeah, he certainly has. And take note of their days. Some of you, there are 80 days you can get out of your Febreze in your car if you leave it on low. I've driven with you before. You get your golf shoes back there and everything else. Not a bad idea, maybe to freshen things up as we take a look at Kyle Muller now in the game here for the Oakland A's. 15 games on the season. 13 of those, however, have been starts for him. This will be just his third relief appearance. Has not been a good year for him. Four-seam fastball, slider, curveball, and changeup that you get from this lefty.
His first pitch in there for a strike to Taveras.
Yeah, he has had a rough go of it. 342 batting average against and a 986 OPS for Muller.
Sent foul over the right side, 0-2.
Did that say 98, that heater?
Yeah.
It says his four-seam fastballs averaged 93 this year. Where did that come from?
Maybe he mixes it up a little bit. I don't know. But that was definitely 98. He was, in fact, his first one was pretty crisp as well. 0-2. And then that was 98. Fouled away. So we haven't seen the average fastball from him. We're just seeing the exceptional ones. Here's his 0-2. And that's in the dirt. Curveball that time. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Rangers have just 1 hit so far today, so a really good effort by Sean Newcomb. 4 shutout innings, 1 hit, 2 walks, and 5 strikeouts. Two and 2. Taveras hitting .375 on the homestand. And he hits that one foul. Stays 2 balls and 2 strikes. He's hit safely in 13 of the last 16 games. And a lot of the hits, once he Seems to have gotten back on track. Have been for extra bases. A lot of doubles in there. Muller's 2-2 pitch, and that's fouled away. Oh, one at 98.
So I'll tell you this, the previous pitch registered as a four-seam fastball, but it was 91 miles an hour. And to me, it looked like a cutter. And so I'm wondering if he has a cut version of his fastball that for whatever reason doesn't register as a cutter, and so then you get those all lumped into fastball, and that's why it brings the average fastball velocity down. Right, because that was a changeup at 91. Right. You tell me he threw a fastball early at 91 as well. So maybe the whatever it was, the spin when he cuts it doesn't get picked up.
Well, full count now. Big pitch coming here to Taveras. And Leote fights it off. Stays 3-2. Regardless how this at bat ends up, you got to be pretty pleased that Taveras is now seeing his 10th pitch in the at bat. Here it comes. And a slow chopper toward third. That could be trouble. That's a base hit. Might be more. Taveras rounded first, or peeled through, I guess, running through it. And probably best anyway. He's going to end up with just a single on that.
Yeah, he's thinking he's got to beat out an infield hit. And quite honestly, even if this ball is fielded cleanly, once it took that last bounce, you were not going to get Leote Taveras, right? It's that bounce right before Smith there. And even if he barehands that cleanly, it's not going to be out at first. And for Leote, he doesn't see that, right? He's head down running everything he has.
Yeah, it's not fair to expect Leote to be ready to think about second base there, but Geloff was way off second at second base. The left side of the infield was busy trying to hit that ball with a stick and knock it down. They just couldn't seem to corral it. Had he turned and gone for second, it might have been, well, it would have been very exciting one way or the other. As it is, they have good speed, and Taveras at first base for Smith. He struck out in the second inning. The 1-1. Gosh, thinking about bunting perhaps. Takes the count to 2-1.
Not a bad idea. We know we struggled a little bit here offensively, although we hit a couple of really hard balls yesterday and had some bad breaks, well over 100 miles an hour in some big spots that were caught in center field.
Check in over there at first base.
That serves two purposes, right? One, to check in on Leote Taveras, the other to see if Smith brings that top hand down toward the barrel of the bat in that spot once the leg comes up, and tells you whether or not he's going to try that bunt again.
2-1. He's looking to hit. Instead takes a strike. Now no real question at all what's going to happen. And count 2-2. He won't be bunting. 2-2 pitch. And that's blooped out to left field. And Butler coming over from center makes the catch. One out. Austin Hedges heading to the plate. We check in with Emily.
Well, with the offense struggling the way that it has, nothing has been ruled out at this point. We saw the kind of juggling of the lineup, trying to get some new guys in, see what they can get going. They've also been doing a lot of live BP, way more than I've ever seen in the past, since I've been covering this team, and probably at least 3 times on this homestand. And Boch said it's something we're going to do more of. The guys seem to like it, and there's nothing like, seeing that live pitching. So they'll bring up, these minor leaguers to throw live BP to the guys who want to take it, and hoping that anything can get this thing turned around.
Yeah, live BP as opposed to what we call dead arm BP, and then of course we have the pitching machines that are out there that can replicate all the different kinds of spins and everything else that we see teams do. But dead arm is just kind of when coaches are throwing it at 60 miles an hour as you see it on the field pregame. But that live BP is you're getting after it. You have a catcher, you have a pitcher, you don't know what's coming, and trying to bring up the intensity a little bit in game situations. Which has to be something for a minor leaguer doing it. Think about some of the nervousness and anxiety that can come along with that. You're not bringing up your guys that throw 100, don't know where it's going. It's going to be your control guys with some decent stuff, so you know it's going to be in the strike zone.
Well, back in the olden days, 0-2 pitch. This one out to right field. Brown was in shallow, goes back and makes the catch. 2 gone. Fergie Jenkins would throw BP between starts. I mean, you know, all the guys that was part of the job was, you know, you pitched when your day was up. You also threw batting practice, which kind of sounds like insanity to me now.
Especially right, 4 days rest probably, or 4-man rotation. He had that incredible run of 300+ innings 4 or 5 years in a row. He had thrown better than 300 innings in a season.
It wasn't just him, you know. Vida Blue, I presume Bob Gibson, all these guys are just throwing BP. It was a leadoff hit for Leote, and Semien took a big pass at this one, but it's a high pop up for Butler, and the inning is over. Rangers leave another base runner. That did the 6th tonight. It's a City Connect Saturday with the Peagle looking out from high above. Yeah, pitching's been pretty good so far here tonight. As we get to the 6th inning, still no score in this one. A game of a 3-game series, critical 3-game series for the Rangers, and they'll turn the baseball over to Chris Stratton in the 6th.
Chris Stratton came over from the St. Louis Cardinals when they also acquired Jordan Montgomery. He's been pretty good for the Rangers so far. Overall year has gone really well for a guy who will be a free agent this year. Or I should say after this year.
Strike pitch, and there's a swing and a miss. 0-2. Rooker trying to hold up, did he? Yes. 1-2.
The only thing with Stratton, a little bit of trouble that he's ran into. 3 home runs allowed for him in his 21 2/3. He only allowed 4 home runs with the Cardinals and more than double the innings that he has thrown so far here with the Rangers.
And there's a strikeout. Rooker has struck out 3 times tonight.
And good fastball, 93 miles an hour, in a really good spot too. When you're going for that swing and miss, you can see where the glove is for Hedges. And even though he got the swing and the miss, there's Austin Hedges still wanting to frame it up a little bit. Always framing.
Now the batter, Shea Langeliers. 1 for 2 so far tonight, and that one framed perfectly for strike 1. Langeliers catching today, batting 5th. And this is his 104th start today behind home plate. And that is the most among catchers in baseball this year. He is kind of an Iron Man behind the plate for them. He's had occasional difficulties defensively back there, but he's a guy who can swing it a little bit. 17 home runs. Uh-oh. That one got him on the wrist or forearm. And Langeliers heads to first.
I'll get a visit from his athletic trainer to check in on him. Looks like he might be all right. Just stung him here a little bit. Unless it did get him on that wrist. That's always the concern. Let's take a peek here and see. Yeah, maybe they're grabbing that hand now and checking it out. Seeing what kind of strength is there. Where did it get him? Oh, yeah. That is not a good spot to get hit at all. The concerns that you get with the handmate and everything else, but Shea Langeliers is going to stay in this game.
5th time he's been hit. He's down at first. And here comes Butler. Butler is 0 for 2 so far tonight. And he'll take just a little bit wide. Last 5 games, though, he has been a pretty dangerous hitter. 3 home runs, 6 RBIs, a .357 batting average. And he'll take a strike there at 1-1.
He's definitely got a little pop in the bat and some strength. I've seen him show up a couple of times in some highlight reels, and a guy like so many others here trying to put some numbers up and see if he can find himself a spot on this team going into next year. We know he's a good defender, obviously. When he came in to push Ruiz into a corner and he played center, and that's saying a lot. And he's shown some speed in the minor leagues. 21 stolen bases, 21 for 23 in his 89 games in AA and AAA this year.
Stays 1-2. Langlier's not going to go anywhere at first base. At least you wouldn't imagine. And that's pulled foul. So Butler not making it easy here. Stratton with a hold, the 1-2 pitch, and a little tapper. That's fouled away too. Oakland, we mentioned it last night, for as tough a season as it has been, 44 wins, 97 losses. They've won 6 of their last 9 games, and they're 10-7 in their last 17. So the Rangers getting a look at Oakland here for the final time this year, but clearly at the worst time of year, at least as far as it's concerned with regard to the way Oakland's playing. Marcotte, and he's had to turn over the roster a bunch of times, but the current collection of guys, they're playing probably their best baseball of the year. 1-2 and a pop-up. Foul territory, third base side. That one was way up there. That Smith takes care of it. 2 down. And how about a message now from Choctaw Casinos and Resorts?
Fun, games, relaxation, or excitement. We've got all your bases covered at Choctaw Casinos and Resorts.
2 gone. Kevin Smith steps in and he swings right through strike 1. He has walked and reached on an infield hit. Oh, that's a beauty. 0-2. Stratton at 94 miles per hour with that fastball. Trying to keep it a scoreless game. Langoliers off first. Here's the 0-2. And they can't get Smith to chase on that one. They won it up. It looks like the 1-2 is down a little bit.
Yeah, for the most part, Stratton has done a pretty good job locating his fastball in this outing. You saw the strikeout that he had of Rooker that was elevated. Did a great job to get that pop up on Butler. Located the fastball up and in. And tried to go up again and get a strikeout against Smith, but that one missed down.
20th pitch of the inning, and that's off the plate. 2-2. On a night where Nathan Eovaldi went 2 1/3 scoreless. Martin Perez 2 2/3 scoreless. Now Stratton. It's on the way, and a swing and a miss. A strikeout of Smith ends the inning. Stratton with 2 Ks in the 6th. Now time for this Rangers offense to get a little something going. Corey Seager will lead it off when we come back. It's still a scoreless contest as we go to the bottom of the 6th inning. And Corey Seager will lead it off for the Rangers. You look at the batting leaders in all of baseball. Luis Arraez has caused so much interest in the National League with the Marlins at 350. Seager at 338, second best average going in baseball. He leads the American League. And he takes low ball 1. 0 for 2 tonight, however. Yesterday, Seager had a 2-run homer. He was also hit by a pitch.
And it's not surprising when you get a guy like Corey Seager putting up the kind of average that he is this year that it has not been an issue for him against lefties. 313 with an 895 OPS. 7 of his 29 home runs have come against left-handed pitching.
(2-0). And Corey fouls it back.
Quite honestly, with a guy like Muller, he's all the way to the third base side of the rubber, and so you give up a little bit of that left-on-left advantage when you do that, especially on the breaking ball. You can see how he is to the extreme third base side, so it doesn't create the angles as much as a lefty that would stay in the middle or even on the first base side of the rubber. So that breaking ball doesn't necessarily start at Seager or even behind him, and so you see it a little bit better. Now, if you throw a lot of two-seam fastballs into lefties, that's a pretty good spot to stand. Because then that ball comes in at a much different angle and really hard to handle.
2-2 pitch. And that's outside. While they have faced one another a couple of times, Muller's never retired Seager. Seager's never had a hit off him. He's walked the 2 times that he has seen him in the past. The 3-2, and he strikes out swinging this time. 1 away in the 6th.
Chasing the slider here that is below the zone in the full count for Seager. Out of the hand, looked like it might have been involved. We know how aggressive he is, and just because it's not in the strike zone doesn't mean that Seager can't handle it. We've seen him do plenty of damage on pitches outside of the zone.
So Grossman takes downstairs. Grossman has walked, struck out looking. Whoa. Muller lost that one there briefly. And Grossman will take the automatic strike. Rangers have had 2 hits. That's it. They've had a couple of walks and a hit batter. And there is ball 4. So make it 3 walks now. Grossman is on in the 6th inning. Last night was one of those nights where they had so many runners, especially early on, and just could not take advantage.
Well, that number there for the A's with their 607 walks allowed this year. Seems like a big number, most in baseball. Quite honestly, Robbie Grossman could have walked 3 times tonight. He was rung up on a curveball that was probably outside of the strike zone.
And now Garver takes low and in. Garver has walked and been hit by a pitch. He's been on both times today. So yesterday the Rangers, they just couldn't take advantage of the base runners. Today they just haven't had many base runners. And that's fouled away. 1-1. Again, is it a must-win game? No, in a technical sense it is not. Are the Rangers flirting with that territory pretty much every night these days? Yeah, I would say so. I think psychologically they're certainly in a spot where they probably feels like they're must-win games every night. They've dropped 16 of their last 20.
I feel like they absolutely have to win tonight, otherwise they lose the series. You know, when the Oakland A's come into town after you have the rough series that you had against the Houston Astros, wasn't a good one at all. None of the games were close. 3 straight blowouts. You have got to win this series against the Oakland A's.
In the air, center field, a late start for Butler, and he couldn't get to it. Garver just bloops one out into center field, and the Rangers have a couple of men on base.
And you'll take it, the walk, and even this little blue pit, whatever it takes to get something going here offensively late in the game for the Rangers. And you're going to see the swing here. And you know, when you first hit a ball like that, you feel like it's going to be an out, but because it was so shallow and Butler was playing somewhat deep, it turns into a base hit.
So here's the spot now. Low 0 for 2. Dropped to 5th in the order for tonight's game, and he takes downstairs ball 1, and that'll get a visit. Langeliers jogs out there to Muller.
And so I mentioned that this is just a 3rd relief appearance for Muller. The 2 that he had were essentially what we call kind of bulk appearances, where he still went pretty deep in the games coming out of the bullpen. One of those was 3 1/3. The other one was 4 innings, and he was right around 66, 67 pitches each time. So he's probably in this thing, even though it's a tight game. Now, the other part of this, though, is it did look like that first inning. We saw some big numbers from his fastball. He was letting it fly. So maybe treating it a little bit differently, not trying to pace himself. And because of that, he could be feeling a little fatigue here 35 pitches into this outing.
Man, that's tight. He struggled a little bit with the strike zone this inning.
And now you're thinking, if you're Nathaniel Lowe, 1 pitch in 1 spot, and we know he's got that great ability to drive the ball the other way. And so thinking about a fastball, middle away to drive for Nathaniel.
2-1. He's the leading doubles hitter in the American League. 37 doubles. Most in the junior circuit. 15 home runs this year for Nathaniel. And in that way, there's been a little dip in home run production for him. He told me he's going to hit a few today. This probably be a good time to start. The 2-1. And that's a strike. 2-2.
That's a tough pitch. So left on left, fastball down and away. Right on the corner. Very bottom of the strike zone. Now you got to be careful about that breaking ball from Muller here, trying to sweep it outside of the zone to get a chase from Nathaniel.
Muller's 2-2. And a little tapper foul. So Grossman at second base. Garver at first. There they are. A couple of critical base runners in the bottom of the 6th inning. Bouncer up the middle. That's through, base hit. Here comes Grossman around third. He'll score. Garver to third base. RBI single, Nathaniel Lowe. And the Rangers get that first run of the ball game.
Good at bat here for Nathaniel. He gets this ground ball right up the middle. Looks like a little slider, not a bad one. Outer third at 90 miles an hour, but you can see the room up there. We don't see Nathaniel hit many ground balls to kind of the pull side of second base, and that's why you had the second baseman over further in the hole, and he goes right back up the middle to get the Rangers on the board.
Now Duran, and a breaking ball misses outside, ball 1. So 1-0 Rangers on the Lowe single. And man, does that feel good right now for those guys in the dugout, for Nathaniel Lowe at first. Just 4 hits in the game, none bigger than that one. And a pop-up. First base foul territory, and Noda tucks it away. That's the second out of the inning. And here comes Leody Taveras. Another chance with a man in scoring position. Garver just 90 feet away. Lowe just delivered. And Taveras takes strike 1. And that has been a problem spot for the Rangers. He's coming up with that hit with men in scoring position. It wasn't earlier in the year, but it has become lately, which you might expect given the streak that they're on right now, the 0-1. And that's fouled away. Strike 2 on Taveras. The year started great. I mean, that was historic the way they were going in April and May with runners in scoring position. These last 2 months, 208.
That's been a big part of the problem. We talk about the last 20 games here for the Rangers. The entire month of August got you 208, but the beginning wasn't nearly as bad as the second half in the month of August.
In the air, foul, stays 0-2. Nothing. Rangers on top. Been a long, tough inning for Muller, and he bounces that one to the plate. Stays in front of Langoliers.
It's a good block. We've seen quite a few good blocks here from both catchers tonight, but in a big spot and another breaking pitch that is way in front of home plate. Those are not easy to block at all, but both Langoliers and Austin Hedges have done a really good job.
27th pitch of the inning for Muller. And that one is hit sharply into center field, base hit. Garver scores. Lowe heading to third base. Leody Taveras delivers another huge hit, and the Rangers have a 2-0 lead.
Well, that'll certainly help as the Rangers swinging the bats a little better here in this inning with runners in scoring position. 106 miles an hour, and this is not a bad fastball. I mean, that is in on the inner third. Muller hit his spot, but look at Leody there from the side, pulling the hands in, barrel to it, and really smoked this thing. And back up the middle, good base running there from Nathaniel as he makes it all the way to third.
And a 2-run inning and a chance for more for Josh Smith now. He'll take a curveball, strike 1. Well, the walk with 1 out ends up turning into a run. The Garver single turned into a run. Rangers with more hits in this 6th inning than they had in the first 5. There's a guy who delivered the first RBI tonight. He's at third. And a lob over there to first base. That could make a person a little uneasy. Francisco Perez getting loose in the pen for Oakland. Now the 30th pitch from Muller. Outside, I should say, in this inning. 1-1. It's his second inning of work. Fastball a little bit wide. 3-1. And getting to that point now with as many pitches as he's thrown and the struggles that he's encountered this inning. I don't know what kind of command he really has right now.
The same thing. You're looking for one pitch in one spot, an opportunity to drive a run in for Josh Smith.
We'll take a strike. Full count.
It's a good slider. 3-1 there. You don't want to necessarily offer at that pitch. Now it gets in your head a little bit. 3-1 sliders. I mean, I'm getting a 3-2 slider.
Payoff on the way. And that's low ball 4. The bases are loaded. A 2-out walk, and again Scott Emerson has to jog out there. Bases loaded. Austin Hedges due up, and wondered if this might be a spot where Bruce Bochy would make a move, but looks like Hedges will go ahead and bat for himself here.
Yeah, I think the one thing with Perez warming up at least is that there's the confidence that you're not going to get a right-handed reliever, and so if you wanted to say take a guy with a little bit more pop potentially like Sam Huff, or give Jonah Heim the option to hit right-handed against the lefty Muller, or even if they went to the pen, Perez. There they are, perfectly lined up. Told them to make sure they were sitting next to each other when we talked about some possible pinch hitting opportunities for the two catchers.
Also, the Rangers added Jonathan Ornelas today to the roster. Breaking ball in there for a strike to Hedges. Ornelas recalled today, his second stint with the club. We saw him earlier in August. J.P. Martinez sent out. One strike pitch, and Hedges takes inside. Well, he doesn't get a ton of opportunity. Let's face it. Hedges at bats are few and far between. But here he is with the bases loaded, a critical game. And he hits it high in the air. Butler coming in. That will end the inning. The Rangers, though, score 2 and have the lead at long last.
And take advantage of a walk with 1 out, and then of course a couple of now base hits here. We saw Nathaniel Lowe do it here, and a nice little side swing there with the base hit up the middle, and then a smoke job here by Leody Taveras as he hammered one up the middle as well. Rangers lead it.
Has the lead in this one, and it is the Rangers 2-0 as we go to the 7th. 2-run 6th inning for the Rangers offense, and so now we'll see if the rest of the bullpen can take care of their end of things here. They've done a great job so far. Eovaldi, Perez, Stratton, and Stratton after a scoreless 6th inning. Back out again in the 7th. New left fielder Travis Jankowski takes over out there for Duran.
And we knew this when Chris Stratton came over from the St. Louis Cardinals, that he could be used as a multi-inning reliever. 56 games for him this year coming into this one, 75 in a 3rd innings.
He goes 2-0 on Tony Kemp. There's a strike. 2-1. Kemp is 0 for 2 today. He's bounced into a double play. He also struck out looking his last time up. 2 hits in his last 12 at bats. Or pardon me. 2 hits in his last 25 at bats. He's been in a bad way. 2-2 the count. He is granted time here. Stratton's pitch, and that one's hooked down the first baseline foul. Mentioned the Rangers' longest homestand, tied for the longest homestand. They started this thing with 3 games against Minnesota. They won the final game of that Twins series in dramatic fashion. Having struggled with Houston, lost the opener to Oakland yesterday. So it has not been a real productive homestand so far. That could change with a win here tonight. That would be a big lift. 3-2 pitch. We'll do it again.
Kemp is making Stratton work here a little bit in this at bat. See the pitch count now at 28. No action yet in that Ranger bullpen, but if Kemp gets on, we would not be surprised to see somebody get going.
Eighth pitch of the at bat, and a little bouncer down to first, and Kemp limping out of the batter's box, running all over the place. That one apparently got his foot.
Definitely not faking it, otherwise this would be one of the great sales jobs of all time. Let's take a look at this pitch here from Stratton. Couldn't tell there. Like I said, I'm sure it hit his foot.
Sorry, go ahead. I feel like you were telling me something about the ball smashing his foot. 3-2.
You wouldn't let, I wonder if Marcus is a little curious.
Here it comes. And that is ball 4. Kemp draws the walk to open the 7th inning.
All right, time now for our AT&T Fiber fast pitch, and taking a look at this Rangers bullpen. We know there have been some troubles lately, but so far tonight it's been a good night. 3 2/3, just a 1 hit allowed so far. No runs, 5 punch outs for them, and Mike Maddox is going to take the slow walk to talk to Chris Stratton, and that is probably to give some time, I would assume, although nobody is up just yet in that Ranger pen. They need more outings like that. It's been part of the problem. So we talked about these last 20, 4 and 16 coming into tonight. The bullpen ERA up over 7 during that time. The starters have struggled as well. 5.68 for them. And it's Will Smith. Looks like he's going to get going here in the 7th inning.
Okay, well, the Rangers haven't had too many high leverage spots here in the last handful of games, so all those guys should be well rested and ready to go. Kemp, the runner at first. He does have speed. He's stolen 12 bases this year in 14 tries. Nick Allen, the batter, he loves to bunt. And he's swinging at the first pitch. Fly ball into right field. Grossman takes control of it, 1 away. Pause for a message now from your local Chevrolet dealers.
This summer, happiness is a new Chevy. Go farther, tow more, and bring along everyone you love. Find your summer adventure in a new Chevy. Chevrolet. Find new roads.
1 away. Ryan Noda. He has walked and singled. He's also grounded out in the ball game today. And he'll go after the first pitch. That's fouled to the left side, out of play. Nothing. Rangers on top. Oh, that one finds the corner.
That's a good pitch. Curveball, backdoor. Not going to throw any better than that. Right on the corner.
A's are 1 for 12 tonight with runners on base. Forget scoring position for a moment. Just simply having a runner on. They have struggled tonight. I mean, it's been the case for both teams tonight, just not a real offensively charged game. Kemp, the runner at first. And he'll draw a throw. Pitch to Noda, and he held off. Strike 3 called. And he had some questions about it, but that was a great pitch. A curveball drops right in there for strike 3.
It's a really good pitch. And you can see where Austin Hedges is set up right at the very bottom of the strike zone. Good break there. Noda seems surprised by it, but this is absolutely a strike.
So 2 gone, and Zach Geloff is the hitter, and he'll take outside ball 1. No runs, 4 hits for Oakland. 2 runs on 5 hits for the Rangers. Yeah, there's a beauty right on the corner for a strike. 1-1. Stratton trying to make it 2 scoreless innings. And he jumps ahead 1-2. Another whiff. Geloff has already struck out twice tonight. A great crowd on a Saturday night. 34,166 encouraging Stratton. The runner goes, the 1-2 pitch in the dirt, throw to second, not in time.
I can see that one coming from a mile away. That lead that Tony Kemp took and started leaning, and almost a walking jump that he got. You see him there, the feet moving. Really good jump from Kemp, and for Austin Hedges, no chance to throw him out.
It's a big runner in scoring position now. 2-2 to Geloff, and he hits this one hard down the left field line. That could be trouble. Into that corner. It is gone. A 2-run homer for Zach Geloff. And after all the work put in to get ahead of the game, just like that, the lead disappears, and we're tied at 2.
We talked about this guy and some of that pop that he has in his bat. 11th home run on the season for him. RBIs 24 and 25, and a guy that is looking like he's going to be a mainstay. Gets a forward-seam fastball. It's not where they wanted to throw it, but it's not a bad pitch. It's up and in. That is a difficult pitch to turn on and get the barrel to.
One of those home runs out of the bullpen continuing to pile up. My, oh my. A 2-2 game in the 7th. Bruce Bochy needs to go to his pen. Top of the 7th inning. And, well, it's going to come down to the bullpen again tonight. Will Smith takes over now with 2 out in the inning.
53 games on the season for Will Smith. You see those 51 in a 3rd innings. 5 home runs allowed. He is a fly ball pitcher, 31% ground ball rate. Slider, 4-seam fastball. Those are the 2 main pitches that you see. He does have a curveball and a changeup as well. The slider, though, has been the best pitch. 105 batting average against for Will Smith. Got a very good walk rate at around 6.5%. He's done a good job limiting the walks. And he's gone 5 straight outings without allowing a run. And he had some problems in there. He had a stretch of 5 outings in which he had given up a total of 9 runs. Not all of those were earned, but 9 runs during that time. But he has bounced back well over these next 5.
One strike pitch to Brown, and that's lined into right field, a base hit. Not hit particularly hard. Maybe off the end of the bat, but Brown is on.
Let's go ahead and take a look at the bullpen tracker for the Rangers, and we take a look at kind of the workload here. Not too bad. You saw Jose Leclerc and Ian Kennedy in yesterday's ball game throwing 29 pitches apiece, just 9 for Brock Burke. And other than that, everybody else is pretty well rested, especially with that off day on the 7th, that Thursday before the series started.
Oh, swing and a miss for strike 1 on Brent Rooker. Rooker is 0 for 3 with 3 strikeouts. So he's the one guy having a little trouble. And Smith to the plate, gets ahead of him 0-2. Rangers got 2 runs in the bottom of the 6th to break the scoreless tie. But the Zach Geloff homer just moments ago tied it for Oakland. 0-2. That's lofted high in the air center field. Taveras waiting on it, and that'll do it. But the 2 runs by Oakland make it a new game. It's stretch time here in Arlington. 2-2 our score, and we turn it over to Chuck Morgan.
Your attention, please, ladies and gentlemen. Will you please rise as Texas Rangers organist Dustin Tatro will now play God Bless America.
All right, look at our Ford leaderboard. Hits leaders in the American League. There's Marcus Semien, 162. That leads the league. Also leading in runs scored. Last Ranger to do it, Adrian Beltre in 2013. Marcus 0 for 3 so far tonight. He'll lead it off in the 7th, and he takes outside ball 1. New pitcher in the game for the Oaklands. It's Lucas Ursay.
We saw him in last night's ball game, and he looked pretty good against the Rangers. He's got himself good arm, good fastball, 98 miles an hour on average with both a 4-seamer and a 2-seam fastball, changeup, slider, cutter also in that mix. And punched out 2 in a scoreless inning last night. It took him just 10 pitches to do it.
1-1. That's hit high in the air to center field. Butler with plenty of time to get to the right spot. 1 away. Here comes Corey Seager, also 0 for 3 tonight. So that's been a story. A night where the offense has sputtered just a little bit. The top 2 in the lineup, Semien and Seager, to this point a combined 0 for 7. Somewhat surprising. It's hard to hold both of them down on the same night. It happens occasionally. The guy will have an 0 for, of course. But both of those guys, well, not all that common. Ursay from the stretch. And he jumps ahead 0-2 on Corey. Infield shades him to pull. You can't quite shift the way you used to. Stays 0-2. But Smith well off the line at third. And Allen about as far up the middle as you can legally position yourself these days as a shortstop. You have to be to the left of the second base bag. Not to the left of the center of that bag, but to the far left edge of the bag. And that one is just a smidge lower. Ursay barely missing with ball 1.
Wasn't caught very well, received very well, and partially missing his spot. Otherwise, if they were aiming for that and the catcher set up in that spot, he may get that call.
Boy, battling up there, fouls off another one. One of the best all-round hitters in the game at the plate, and the Rangers happy to have him there. 5 home runs in the last 8 games, and he hits that ball hard out to right field, and it's caught by Brown. Or maybe it caught Brown. Either way, 2 are out.
That was hit hard. You're right. On 106 off the bat, and we don't see it too often. I just did a quick search here with Marcus Semien and Corey Seager in games that they've had at least 8 plate appearances and no hits. It's only happened 5 times this year. As it stands right now, this will be number 6, but I'm not going to get another shot.
So Robbie Grossman, who jumped into the 3rd spot in the lineup today, has been on twice. He scored the first run of the game. A couple of walks. He's also struck out. And Irsay gets him to chase that one. It's 0-2. Two runs on 5 hits tonight. Rangers have left 7. 2 runs on 6 hits for Oakland. They've left 8 men on. Irsay is the 3rd pitcher of the game for Oakland, and he deals very high with that one. Francisco Perez has started to throw in their bullpen. He was warming up a little earlier today, and they get, I mean, they'll get guys up multiple times a game. It seems like they did that a few times yesterday. 2-2. Irsay ready again. The 2-2 pitch. That's inside. All these Rangers hopefuls, man, they have been hanging on. Been a tough homestand and a tough month of September. And we'll just want something good for the local 9. Grossman could deliver it here. He'll take ball 4, 3rd time he's walked tonight.
And pretty incredible here from Robbie Grossman, the way that his night has gone as far as his ability to get on base. I mentioned it earlier, the one time he struck out looking, there was an argument to be made that he probably could have walked in that at bat. And that's what he does for you. And for a guy like Irsay, he was so efficient last night, looking pretty good here in his first 2 hitters, and that's a nice job by Robbie Grossman to break that up a little bit.
So he's on in front of Garver, and a fastball runs inside on Mitch. Mitch has been on all 3 times. Not a good game for him out of that cleanup spot. There's a fastball for a strike, 1-1. And Garver has recently taken over the cleanup position in the lineup, with Adolis Garcia on the injured list. He strained his right knee a couple of days ago trying to make a play on a fly ball against the wall. One and 2 on Garver. Garver had been swinging the hot bat anyway. Could have argued that he would have moved into the cleanup spot, injury or not. The 1-2. That will even it up.
Irsay has done a really nice job of keeping the baseball in the ballpark. Just 1 home run allowed for him. He's 46 in the 3rd innings this year. Think about that Mitch Garver power and how good it has been. Love to see a hanging slider. Some more of that damage. No.
Full count.
That's not a strike.
Oh no. Alfonso Marquez having words with the Oakland dugout.
And you see Mitch Garver even getting annoyed by that, right? It's one thing when it was a borderline pitch, but that was not even that close.
No.
So you find it just a little bit irritating as a hitter. A pitcher and a catcher would try to tell an umpire he missed that call.
Runner goes, pitches in. That's ball 4. Back-to-back 2-out walks.
Take a look at the last 2 pitches. You see Mitch Garver kind of looking out a little bit. The reason it bothers you is because you don't want any kind of influence here with the umpire getting in his head and thinking, hey, did he miss one? Just wasn't that close. And then you worry about losing a borderline pitch in that same area, especially. Now both of those missed. And again, that's why I think you saw Mitch Garver just with that little bit of a look, and you saw him kind of saying some things after that first pitch that we showed you. Scott Emerson looking pretty animated right here. Now, I don't know if he's pissed or upset with the umpire, because it almost feels like whether it's it's at his pitcher here, or if he's going to say something to Alfonso. He's not. That's what I was wondering. Was he going to take some of that anger out on the home plate umpire? Because that would have been misguided.
Potty mouth.
Sorry.
All right, conversation over. You're British, that's all.
I'm just thinking about those closed captioners. Not this guy again.
All right, here's Lowe. He delivered a big hit last inning. Could he do it again here? He takes downstairs, ball one. It was his 72nd RBI. It started the scoring tonight, making it at the time a 1-0 game in the 6th inning. Oakland came back with a 2-run homer to tie it in the 7th. Now Lowe trying to answer. He's downstairs, 2-0. Getting the count advantage here. This will be the 25th pitch of the inning now for Irsay, and that misses as well. 3-0.
Now, he showed all that emotion when he thought he had Mitch Garver again on a pitch that wasn't that close. But this goes back to, for me, even the Robbie Grossman at bat, because there were a couple of close pitches, and Robbie did a great job. Draws the walk. Now all of a sudden you got a reliever who seems to have lost it, frustrated by the lack of calls.
99 right in there for a strike. Lowe waits on a 3-1. That's a full count.
He just cranked it up here a little bit. Mentioned that fastball averages around 98, but that two-seam fastball, that sinker at 99 there in a perfect location.
Grossman and Garver out there. The 3-2. And Lowe stays alive. So the mound visits for Oakland, they are plumb out. Conversations to be had, and that means even Langoliers, catcher, he can't run out there to have a word, as we've reached the bottom of the 7th inning. Now once or if we got to extra innings, you would get another mound visit then, but they're strapped at this point. 3-2, and that is inside, ball 4. 3 straight walks to load the bases.
He is angry, and again, that pitch is not a strike. It's not a missed call. They're going to have to make a pitching change here. There's some reaction, but again, that pitch is off the plate.
Well, with 2 outs, he issues 3 straight walks, and Irsay is done. It will be Francisco Perez coming on for Oakland in a tie game. Baseball on Bally Sports is brought to you by Baylor Scott & White Health, changing healthcare for the better, and by Choctaw Casinos and Resorts. Well, how about this? 2-2, 7th inning, bases loaded for the Rangers. Bottom of the 7th inning. Francisco Perez, the new pitcher for Oakland.
And this will be just his 10th game this year, and some numbers there that jump off the page. The high ERA, but good swing and miss. 13 strikeouts in 10 in a third. How about 6 of the 7 inherited runners that have scored? And he's going to have to face a pinch hitter.
Jonathan Ornelas just added to the roster today. His first big league plate appearance right here. And he'll take strike 1. He was up with the ball club earlier this season. Played in a couple of games. In fact, it was at Oakland, defensive replacement, also a pinch running assignment. But did not get an at-bat. And it's 0-2. 2 outs, bases loaded, 7th inning. Man alive. What a position for him. Imagine if he delivered a hit here. Pitch from Perez. In the dirt, and that one gets away. Grossman scores. And the Rangers back in front on the wild pitch.
Any way that you can get it, you will take it right now if you are the Rangers. And we were talking about Langeliers earlier today. What a great job he has done blocking pitches. He was a little late there on the turn, and then you weren't sure, is that ball going to hit the plate or bounce just in front of it? What kind of hop was it going to take? And it was one that Shea Langeliers could not handle.
Now Garver at third, Lowe at second. And that's in the air right field. Brown started in, goes back, reaches up, and he makes the catch. Oh, mama. Ornelas just about snuck one in there. The Rangers, though, take the lead. It's 3-2. There, it's 3-2 Rangers. That is Tom and Fran Roth celebrating their 60th wedding anniversary tonight. The Diamond anniversary. And they're celebrating at the Diamond. He's ex-Air Force from New York. She's a Texas girl. A couple of kids, 6 grandchildren, 3 great grandkids. And obviously a lot of loving family bringing them out. It's their first trip out here to Globe Life Field, and got a suite tonight. So congrats to Tom and Fran on 60 excellent years, and the Rangers trying to get them a win. Maybe they're the good luck charm.
Having some sweets in the suite too, and certainly deserve it.
Well, it is a Rangers 1-run lead. Shea Langeliers, who just failed to corral that wild pitch a moment ago, which gave the Rangers the lead. He leads things off here. Ornelas stays in the game at third base. Josh Smith moves out to left. And the count 1-2. Langeliers today has had a double. He's been hit by a pitch. But once again, a great spot for this Rangers pen to prove its mettle. Will Smith came in to get the last out last inning. And the 1-2 pitch, that is a little bit wide. 2-2. Hopefully get himself a shutdown inning here. Neither team yet tonight has been able to produce one of those after scoring a run. Pitch on the way, and Langeliers pops this one up. Back of second. Semien is there, and there's one away.
Go ahead and take a look now at our T-Mobile coverage cam, and a big play from last inning, and down to the count 0-2. Here comes a breaking ball into dirt, gets away from Shea Langeliers, and very easily for the Rangers, scoring that very much needed third run. It's Robbie Grossman now scoring twice in this game. And the value of the walk and getting on base, we mentioned that he has walked 3 times tonight. Well, the last 2 times that Robbie Grossman has walked, he has scored, and so he has made the difference in the 3-hole, not necessarily with big hits, but getting on base. That's all that matters. And he does a really great job at it. We talked about this throughout this homestand, his ability to not chase pitches outside of the strike zone. One of the best on this Rangers team.
Yeah, he's been huge tonight. Meanwhile, the A's go to the bench here. Esteury Ruiz pinch hitting for Butler, and he takes outside. Ball 1. One out, nobody on. fouled away. Ruiz, great speed. Dangerous guy winning if he gets on base. He's had a little injury trouble this year. One, and he hits this ball hard into left field. That's a base hit. And so Ruiz is on, and he will command some attention.
Yeah, now 2 for 8 as a pinch hitter this year, which is impressive. Not an easy thing to do, especially with the kind of swing that he has. He's aggressive, not afraid to expand the zone. And now for Will Smith, he's got to worry about that potential stolen base. Check that out for the A's. 38 pinch hits. That is the most in Major League Baseball. We talked about them and the San Francisco Giants right up there near the top. The way that they play the platoon game.
Ruiz with 56 stolen bases this year, not going. He pitches outside to Kevin Smith. So he's just 8 short of the American League rookie record for steals in a season. Kenny Lofton in 1992 stole 66 bases. A pickoff throw. They got him. Now he's shaking his head no, but boy, it looked like he was beaten badly on the pickoff. And a good tag, but they are going to challenge.
Well, it doesn't happen too often. The step-off move for the lefties is one that keeps guys close, but not that easy to actually pick.
Oakland is challenging the outlaw at first base.
I'm going to tell you, that view right there looked like he got him. Let's take a look at the closer one. Oh, yeah, he's out. What do you think?
No, I think he's out. Now, based on the 2 looks that we have seen, we'll see if this angle gives us anything different.
Not enough to turn it over.
No, I don't think it's going to be enough to turn it over for them. I mean, I don't think it's a bad challenge for Kotsay. Now in his 2nd year managing in Oakland, but Ruiz, a critical mistake right there on the bases.
Give Will Smith some credit. That move, there's a lot that goes into it. Timing, the accuracy of the throw. It's not an easy thing to do, and assuming that this will hold, it'll be the 6th pickoff in the career of Will Smith.
Our plate umpire is the crew chief, Alfonso Marquez. He'll give us the official word here in a moment. And again, the fact that the call in the field was out is critical.
You see how he turned his left foot in right there at the last second, as if he was going to go? Well, Thomas Henry, get out of the way.
Right there, he's out. There we go.
After review, the call stands. The runner is out. Oakland will lose their challenge.
No more challenges, no more mound visits. That's going to be it for the A's. That's a great job by Will Smith. Really good.
A clutch play, 2 out, nobody on. The tying run and the speedy Ruiz no longer on base. Smith swings over the top of that one. It's 1-1. Walk and a single tonight. This one's pulled foul, strike 2. Last time up, Smith struck out. Well, it's been a tense one tonight from start to finish. There's no wiggle room for anybody. Now timeout taken by Kevin Smith. A 1-2. It's a swing and a miss and a strikeout for Smith. And that ends the inning.
How about Will Smith coming up big here for the Rangers? First, a pickoff throw right on the money tag there by Nathaniel Lowe. They went to review, but that call held. And then how about a punch out here? He's done it so often with the slider once again in a big spot to preserve that 1-run lead.
Game in center field for Oakland. Bottom of the 8th inning. Rangers lead 3-2. A shutdown inning for Will Smith. And now the Rangers bats back up there. Taveras takes strike one from Francisco Perez. Perez got the final out last inning when Ornelas lined out to right field. It just about got over the head of Brown out there. That really would have been something. And he spikes a breaking ball in front of the plate. I have no data in front of me to prove this.
Okay, I'm your guy.
But I am 100% confident that we have not seen a game this year with more pitches bouncing in front of home plate than we have tonight. And both sides.
Yeah.
Just seeing a ton of them.
Yep, nobody keeps track of that, so you got no worries about getting called out about being.
Prove me wrong, America.
Yeah.
The 1-2.
No one reached the plate. It's close.
It's close. Last of the 8th inning. Rangers got 2 runs in the 6th. The go-ahead run in the 7th. They won it up. And this one is on the ground, second base. Geloff has it. Taveras retired, 1 away. Well, Aroldis Chapman getting ready in the bullpen for the Rangers, so he'll be on in the 9th inning.
That was tremendous timing. I was like, well, that sounded like it might have hit the pad, and even Chapman's laughing a little bit, which it did. And so he's ever warming him up right now. Could not get a glove on that ball, and it bounced all the way back to Aroldis Chapman. It's Pat Cantwell. That was also an interesting conversation I had with him, one of the bullpen catchers with the Rangers. They have 2 that travel all the time. Chase Casale is the other. And I said, oh, hey, by the way, when Chapman got here, how'd you guys figure out who was going to warm him up? He's like, it was pretty much a no-brainer. It was going to be me. Chase wanted nothing to do with it, and Pat's a big, strong guy, and he said, I knew. It would fall on me, and he's got no problem doing it.
A ball and a strike now on Josh Smith. But most of the night at third, left field last inning, and he hits this ball foul. Strike 2.
That's one of the unknowns of the bullpen. If you have multiple bullpen catchers, and that's kind of new. We had 1 bullpen catcher when I came up, and then your guy who didn't start that day would then also be catching, your backup catcher. But in this situation, you pretty much get assigned guys, unless for some reason they're both warming up at the same time. Then you can't do it. But there is kind of that thing, like, no doubt Chapman throws the pad every time.
2-2 pitch and another foul ball.
Everybody gets a personal catcher.
Yeah. So when you were out there, you get what you get. You don't throw a fit.
Because there was only 1 bullpen catcher, and sometimes they didn't travel, and then it would be the backup catcher.
2-2, and that's a bouncer shortstop. Backhand stop by Allen to throw to first just in time. Smith barely retired.
That's a nice play. You talked about it earlier here with Allen. And this is a guy who was a glove first shortstop, and he's got a long way to go here, and backhanding this, and then the throw on the run and on the money. It was also a good job by Smith to make sure he got out of the way or didn't dive and deflect that baseball.
So 2 away. Hedges goes right after strike 1. Austin's 0 for 3.
Even probably surprising about Hedges tonight is how many off-speed pitches he has seen. Now, he doesn't play that much, obviously, and the A's have decided to attack him with a bunch of off-speed pitches. Even Sean Newcomb, who is fastball slider, threw him a changeup in his first at-bat, a pitch that he rarely uses.
There's a ground ball left side. Smith throws over to first in time. And it's a 1-2-3, bottom of the 8th inning. So Chapman's ready to go. He'll get the bottom portion of the order in a 1-run game when we return.
Scott Whitehouse, a game diagnosis, and taking a look at this one. Been a close game all night, but Nathaniel Lowe was the guy that broke through for the Rangers with his RBI single. That was in the 6th inning, and then they added another because Leody Taveras had himself an RBI single as well. 2 runs for the Rangers in the 6th inning, and they needed it very badly. Now they gave up 2 in the top of the 7th inning, and then they scored 1 more in the bottom of the 7th on a wild pitch, and that is where we stand right now. A 3-2 lead here for the Rangers. We're in the top of the 9th inning, and Aroldis Chapman is on to try to close things out. This will be his 55th game on the season. He started the year with the Kansas City Royals, traded to the Rangers, and has been pretty good in a Ranger uniform. We got the big strikeout numbers are still there, 94 and his 52 in the 3rd innings. He's given up 3 home runs this year. And how about the stuff that we see from the hard-throwing Chapman? You get to see him all at once here as we take a look at his pitch arsenal via the overlay. You get to see with Chapman the 2 different types of fastballs that he has. He throws that 2-seam fastball and the 4-seam fastball to go along with the slider. He's also got the split in there as well. The split he doesn't throw nearly as much though as those 3 pitches right there.
Well, Aledmys Diaz will pinch hit for Oakland. And Chapman's first pitch to him, a little bit high, ball 1. Starts him off with the slider. Well, we've talked a lot about pinch hitting with this Oakland team. They do it a lot. And Diaz fouls this one back, 1-1. And they're pretty good at it. At least they've had some success in terms of just aggregate pinch hits, that sort of thing. Diaz has faced Chapman once before he walked. 1-1. And that's on the ground left side of the infield. Smith is there. He throws out Diaz easily, 1 away. Pardon me, Nellis.
That's a big out there for whatever reason. The numbers, I had a double and triple look here with Diaz. He is a .397 career pinch hitter. That is absurd. The ball catches him on the heel there, but still makes the play. And that is a 58 pinch hit at bats for Aledmys Diaz. Wow.
Well,
that guy just got a great video if he was taking it in that orange shirt.
But again, that old slap of approval. Atta, babe.
That might have been worth it.
No wavering. Stay with it.
There's also a sweet watch he's got on.
1-0. That's low. Evan Carter has come in to shore things up a little defensively in right field. That's ball 3 now to Nick Allen. So the 9th place hitter for Oakland. And my guess is he's not swinging here. Not many of these A's hitters who have seen much of Chapman over the years. A 3-0 pitch. That's a strike. Chapman acquired from Kansas City at the end of June. A 3-1 pitch that is inside, and he has walked Nick Allen. The potential tying run is on for Oakland in the 9th. And the lineup turns over now. Ryan Noda heading to the plate. No, Noda will be lifted for a pinch hitter.
There's only 5 stolen bases for Allen this year. Obviously a very important run here in a 1-run game. But we know that for Aroldis Chapman when he came over here that the stolen base can be a little bit of an issue. Now 15 stolen bases against him, but all of them as a Royal. He is not allowed he is not allowed a stolen base as a Ranger, which is kind of surprising. 15 stolen bases in his 29 1/3 innings in Kansas City. None here and now with his 23 innings for the Rangers.
Carlos Perez the batter, and he takes right on the outside corner for a strike. That's one of the backup catchers. He had a left thumb fracture that put him on the injured list for a really long stretch. About 6 weeks or so he missed. Comes up empty here. 0-2.
That was not a great attempt on that swing. Did not seem like he picked up that fastball at all. And so for Chapman, you don't want to mess around. Same thing, elevate or off the plate with the heater. We know that he likes to go to the two-seam fastball to finish hitters off when he's got a chance for the strikeout.
The 0-2, and it is the heater. It misses in just barely. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Allen, the runner at first, 1 away in the 9th inning. 3-2 our score. Here's the pitch, and that is outside and low. So it goes again back to that two-seam fastball, and again just misses a corner.
And just really what you want to do now, you're getting this 2-2 count, is start it down the middle, let it run to the outside part of the plate. When you're Aroldis Chapman, you don't think corners unless you're way ahead in the count. 0-2. His stuff is live. It's moving all over the place. You almost split the plate in half, and now the conversation going to exactly what Chapman wanted to do compared to what Hedges was thinking in this spot.
Mentioned earlier, 34,166 here tonight. Two pitch, and a swing and a miss struck him out. First strikeout for Chapman tonight. 2 away.
And he did it on the slider, and Perez didn't really have much of a chance at all. It was just a matter of getting him to swing at a 2-strike pitch, and they finally did. And there's another great block from Austin Hedges to keep that in front of him and not allow Allen to get into scoring position as the potential tying run.
Chapman needs 1 more out. Zach Geloff will take low, ball 1. Geloff had the whoops.
Prefer Chapman not be the one to have to go run and get that right now. I prefer that he preserve all the energy he has. I don't think that was a bad throw. I think it just clanked off his glove. So I'm talking about the time that you should be able to bring water out to a pitcher. Let's see what happened here. Yeah, he just missed it.
Yeah, and the reason he's running is you don't have extra time.
Oh yeah, even in that spot, how the clock just keeps going to 20 seconds. So he could get on the mound and step off though with the runner on at least. You have your disengagements, right?
For sure. 1-1 to Geloff. That is low. Ball 2. Well, Geloff, a dangerous hitter, had the 2-run homer in the 7th inning, had a single in the 3rd. Right now he's the last hope for Oakland. Rangers trying to even this series. The 2-1. That's low.
About 3 sliders and just 1 fastball so far to Geloff. Now, we hit that home run and he turned on a pretty good fastball that was up and in, but still Aroldis Chapman's fastball, and they decided, at least so far here, to try to get Geloff out with the slider.
Chapman ready again. The 3-1. That's a strike. One strike away from what feels like an enormous win for the Rangers if they can get it. Just 1-6 on the homestand. Here it is in the dirt. Ball 4. The tying run moves into scoring position. The go-ahead run is aboard. And the A's will go to the bench for a pinch hitter, Jordan Diaz.
Watch this pick here from Austin Hedges. There's a spiked fastball, and look at that, like a hockey goalie.
Mike Maddox heading out to the mound, and the Rangers will have just one mound visit remaining. It'll be Chapman against Jordan Diaz. And even, I mean, I guess there's no other way for this to go down than for the tying run to get into scoring position and have everybody scooching out just a little bit further to the edge of their seats. And it's been that kind of a night. It's certainly been that kind of a white knuckle ride the last 3 weeks. I can sympathize, man.
Diaz 2 for 6 as a pinch hitter in his career. All those at bats happened this year. One of those hits was a home run.
Nice pitch from Chapman. And that's a little low. So 20 pitches into the outing now. Eovaldi, Martin Perez, Chris Stratton, Will Smith, and now Chapman. There's a strike. He has a .239 hitter with 10 home runs this year. And he hits it on the ground, shortstop. Seager is there. This one is over. And the Rangers have earned a win, 3-2 over the Oakland A's, and they can shake hands out on the field for the first time in what feels like forever.
Yeah, and they did a great job here playing a little small ball tonight. We talked about the Robbie Grossman walks, 2 of those that turned into runs, a couple of singles that drove in runs. They win it on a wild pitch, a rare time in which Corey Seager and Marcus Semien go a combined 0 for 8, just the 3rd time that has happened this year, and the Rangers, first time that has happened, and they won a game. So really kind of nice team win here and a good job by the bullpen. This one was badly needed.
All right, getting back on track just a little bit more, and a chance to win the series tomorrow afternoon. We'll be back to wrap it up in a minute.